everyone and welcome to another Marvel Crisis Protocol Battle Report. Today we have for you 17 threat of the Defenders going up against a new affiliation on the table, the Crime Syndicate. So we'll be going over both teams and getting started in a second. The table's all set up and I think this is as close to Halloween Battle Report as we're going to get, because I believe you'll be seeing this if it's edited on time on Friday before the Saturday Halloween. So happy Halloween. Let's see if we have a spooky fight. It's just occurred to me that anything I could do that was super Halloween-y here would pale in comparison to the year 2020 anyway, so let's just ignore that and carry on. Crime Syndicate, being led by the Kingpin and his bodyguard slash personal assassin Bullseye's here. We also have Taskmaster, Crossbones just to fill a space, and Green Goblin. So the Crime Syndicate affiliation bonus is that healthy characters count as 2 on securing assets or objectives, and once per turn they can exchange holdable objectives between people, although you can't hold more than the mission specifies. Tactics cards: Extreme Conditioning, Cruelty, Shadow Organization, Hired Muscle, and all according to plan. I should also mention that you might hear some background drilling and whatnot. There's some road work being done right outside the house. Apologies for that, hopefully my voice and the music will be drowning it out. Defenders, we have Doctor Strange of course, we have Hawkeye filling a space, we have the Punisher, we have his faithful manservant Wong, and we have Daredevil. Very excited to see how Daredevil does. Tactics cards: the Pentagram of Faralah, Seven Sons of Cinnabus, Blood Red and Personal, Acute Senses, and Climbing Gear. So we haven't set up yet, so we don't know who's going first or who's deployed on which side, but these are the 2 missions being played. The Secure is Mayor Fisk vows to find missing witnesses, which is the one that comes in the Kingpin box. And the Montesi formula found is the Extraction. That's the threat level being played. So that's the 3 books. You can only hold 1 book. 1 victory point for each book held in the cleanup phase. And if you are holding the book, you get access to a death beam. So both teams are going to be shooting death beams at each other. Mayor Fisk, looking for those missing witnesses. There's 2 missing witnesses. In the cleanup phase you score 2 if you're securing a witness, but then the witness also runs away in the cleanup phase. Presumably the scoring happens first and then the running away happens after, I would guess. So the 3 books are in a line like the Gamma Showers, and then the 2 missing witnesses are on either end of the table there. We'll be back at deployment to see who's deploying on which side. I feel like the construction noise is probably adding to the ambience. Maybe Mayor Fisk is getting some work done and this is just a big distraction for the heroes because he doesn't want them to see where the bodies are being buried. But anyway, Crime Syndicate on your left, Defenders on your right. Green Goblin, Mayor Fisk, I guess in the context of the mission, Crossbones, Bullseye, Taskmaster, Daredevil all the way up there by himself, Punisher, Hawkeye, because I guess they're both okay with killing, and then Wong obviously nearby Strange because he benefits from being near Doctor Strange. And it will be the Crime Syndicate going first. So it was the Green Goblin moving medium twice that got the game started because of his flight rule. That gave him more than enough to get over there diagonally into the middle and to pay 1 power to pick up the book in the centre map, meaning they'll probably have the advantage book-wise once they grab their own over there as well. But for gold, going to the witness there, and remember it's cleanup and securing. You can't pick up the witness, unlike the Spider Infected or whatever. So it's just you have to surround them. And both teams have 5 peoples, but of course Crime Syndicates count as 2 each as long as they're healthy, so this will be interesting. Trusty Wong, who's been missing from the last couple, or at least 1 defender showing, move forwards medium to secure the witness there, who will still scarper at the end of the turn regardless of who it is that's securing. But an early little claim on that person there, knowing that Green Goblin's obviously stuck up there for this turn. Fisk is slow, and so is Crossbones. Crossbones activated, he moved forwards almost as full small movement, spent 1 power to pick up the book that was here, and then moved small over to this direction, heading towards the other witness. The Punisher was next up. He moved forwards and spent 1 power to pick up the book closest to the defenders' starting lines, and then moved medium again up towards that side to back up Daredevil, because I guess they're focusing down on that witness over there. Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, activated, and he just moved small twice. He could have moved small once and then fired his cane laser at Wong, because I think it would have been within 3. He double moved though, because that puts him in secure range thanks to his big base of the witness there, and because he is healthy and he's Crime Syndicate, that counts as 2 healthy characters. So Doctor Strange has to get in range 1 of this witness for it to be a draw. There is no way now for it to be anything like a draw is the best outcome for the defenders. They can't beat Fisk and his counting his 2. I mean, it does look like he ate someone, so I suppose that makes sense. He counts as 2 healthy characters. Anyway, back to the defenders. So never say never for the defenders, because they actually did just find a way thanks to Hawkeye. I love this meme that in a game full of literal gods and superheroes and whatnot, Hawkeye, which is just a guy with a bow and arrow, is like rated one of the best possible characters. He keeps on proving it. He's worth it. He is so good. He moved medium to roughly there, range 5, shot his arrow at Fisk, turned it to energy so it was only 3 defense dice, not 4, rolled fantastically, 2 crits and a wild turned into an extra hit. Fisk blocked one of them, took 3 damage, the wild applied a bleed at Hawkeye's choice, and that 3 power he generated from that gave him enough, he needed 2, to use Hook Arrow to move him there within 1. So now Doctor Strange, who can fly, he can just hover over this to get like roughly theirs. They're actually going to be able to secure that. He is just within 1. It's barely, but that is within 1. So they found a way to do it, and Fisk actually took quite a bit of damage there. Oh, apologies, Mayor Fisk spent 1 power on extreme conditioning. It's called something like intense physical conditioning. It's like Crossbone's skill, it's reducing damage by 1, but he has to pay to do it. He doesn't get it for free like the Black Order. So he actually took 2 damage. Hawkeye still had enough to do Hook Arrow as well, so it doesn't change what happened. It just means Fisk took 2 damage, not 3. The Taskmaster was up next, and he just medium moved twice to both secure that witness and also kind of try and deny Daredevil if he could get close enough to secure as well. So it's looking like that's going to be held by the Crime Syndicate, but we'll see. Still got Doctor Strange and Daredevil to go for the other side, and obviously Bullseye down here for Crime Syndicate. As per the plan, Doctor Strange medium moved on top of here thanks to him being able to fly, and then medium moved again, right smack dab there to secure this witness here, and that's all he could do for his turn. But that does mean 3 healthy defenders trump a Crime Syndicate character who, thanks to the affiliation bonus, counts as 2, so that is actually going to be scored by the defenders because there's no way Bullseye is getting over here. But it does also mean that after it's scored in the cleanup phase, the Crime Syndicate player gets to move the witness within 2? I can't remember the range, we'll check at the end. Either way, over to Bullseye, and then back over to Daredevil to end off Battle Round 1. So just going to cover the last 2 activations of Battle Round 1. Bullseye just moved up twice to help secure there. Daredevil's turn was a bit more interesting. He moves long, so he moved long to there, and knowing that he can't beat technically 4 healthy characters for that witness, he did a Hook Baton on Taskmaster to try, because if he got a wild he could pull him towards him. Not that it would make much difference, but hey. Now, he made a little bit of a mistake. If I just grab the measurement, he is literally just within 2, which means that martial prowess kicks in for Taskmaster, so blanks count as successes against physical and energy attacks. So all said and done, Daredevil did 1. Had he just like a millimeter or 2 back, had he done that, it would have been 3 damage. No wild either way, so no pull, but still, it would have been 3 damage as opposed to 1, which could have made a difference. Either way, we are into the cleanup phase now, so we'll get some scoring done. So for the scoring in Battle Round 1, the Crime Syndicate has 2 of the 3 books for 2 victory points, and they did secure the witness over there for another 2 victory points, putting them at 4. The defenders have 1 book, and they defended the witness over there for 3. So 4 playing 3 going into the next Battle Round. However, starting with the player with priority, you pick witnesses not secured by you, move them within 2, and after the move, anyone within 1 takes 1 damage and is stunned. Stun is the one where if you would get more than 1 power, you get 1 power. So Wilson moved the witness over there, hit Wong and Hawkeye for 1 damage each, they got stunned, and this one was moved by the defenders to here, so Bullseye and Taskmaster both took stun and 1 damage as well. So, we're going to go into Battle Round 2 now with the Crime Syndicate still going first. The Green Goblin was the first activation for the turn, and he flew down with a medium move to right there, so he's within 1 of the witness, and then used the book he's carrying to do the Mystic Beam. It's a beam 3, straight down the middle, so it would hit Hawkeye and Wong. Wong also had an extra defense die for being so close to Doctor Strange, he didn't even need it. He perfectly blocked it. Hawkeye, on the other hand, with his 2 energy defense, took 3 damage. He is stunned. It means he lost the, or dazed, sorry, because he lost the stun effect, but he will not be getting an activation this turn. Doctor Strange was first up for the defenders, and he did his bolts of bedazzlement, whatever they're called, on the Kingpin. It would have done 2 damage. Kingpin spent 2 power to ignore the damage, so he took none, which also means it didn't do the push, and the push was really the thing wanted to keep him far away. And for his other action, Doctor Strange moved so that he is helping to claim this witness here, although it might be for naught, because those 2 there would add up to 4 against 2. Crossbones was up next, and he had a bit of an interesting turn. First of all, he spent 1 power on Hired Muscle. Just pretend he's Rhino in the picture, I guess. Unaffiliated active. Any character may spend 1 power to play this. He did. Each civilian token within 3 is placed within 2. So the civilian that was there was within 3 of him. So I accidentally move Bullseye slightly. So it was moved 2 behind there, or there. He moved up, so he's kind of blocking. And then for his other actual action, because that was a tactics card moving the objective, he used the book he's holding to fire a death beam at poor Daredevil, who did get blanks counting because it's an energy attack. Still took 2 damage from it. The Punisher was next up, and he moved into position where you can see him so that he could use the book he's carrying to death beam both Taskmaster and Bullseye. He whiffed entirely against Taskmaster, didn't do a thing. It was supposed to take advantage of them both being stunned so they couldn't generate power if lots of damage got done to them. Haha, very funny. Because Bullseye only took 1 damage, and then he spent 2 power on Parting Shot, which means he gets to hit back for 1 true damage, which has been done to Punisher, and then he gets to move small, so it's put him in position at the witness there. So that kind of backfires spectacularly. Kingpin activated and head-butted Wong for 3 damage. Sorry, did 4 actually, but he already had 1 damage on him, so technically did 3. To take him to a dazed state, so Wong will not be getting an activation this turn either. And then with his other activation, he cleared his bleed, because he doesn't need to worry about being over there, because Green Goblin counts as 2, so that witness is still being claimed by them. So Wilson did some good stuff there. So it's over to Daredevil to end the turn for the defenders, but Taskmaster and Bullseye still get to go for Criminal Syndicate. The Man Without Fear moved long to get right up over here, although it won't matter what happened next because Crossbones is counting as 2 healthy characters. But then he did his normal baton strike against Bullseye and did fantastically. Bullseye took 3 damage and is stunned, so he will not in fact be getting a turn this battle round, but we do still have to go back over to Taskmaster to end the turn proper. Daredevil is also now sitting on quite a bit of power. So Taskmaster stayed exactly where he was. He did his 2 basic sword strike attacks, you just need to be within 2, it's 5 physical. On Punisher, have also not been mentioning, but Punisher is sitting on 2 Punisher tokens because of Wong and Hawkeye getting dazed this turn. Either way, the first strike did 3 damage, the second did 2, and that was exactly enough to daze him. So Punisher is down, he dropped his book, which Taskmaster then spent 1 power to pick up. Taskmaster is still stunned, however, he did some good work there. So at the end of Battle Round 2, this is turning into a massive stomp for the Criminal Syndicate. Their ability to secure objectives with like a single healthy character counting as 2 is harsh. It is so hard to deal with. So they claimed both of the witnesses for a total of 4 victory points, and they hold all 3 books for 3 more victory points, meaning the defenders got nothing in that battle round. And as we go into battle round 3 with the defenders going first, the Criminal Syndicate have 11, defenders have 3. Also, of course, the witnesses have moved. Defenders moved this witness here, so Fisk took 1 damage and a stun. They're dazed, so that doesn't count. And this witness got moved ever so slightly because Bullseye was dazed as well. So it was not within 1 of Daredevil, but was within 1 of Crossbones, so he also took 1 damage and the stun condition. So the defenders have got to do something magical this turn. Let's see what happens. So Daredevil was the first to activate for Battle Round 3. However, in the power phase, Blood Red and Personal was played as a chance to play catch up. During the power phase, an allied Punisher can spend 4. Each time an enemy character is KO'd this round, you gain 1 victory point. So that means the only target was Bullseye, but it's a chance for a point that might not be possible later. So it was played. Daredevil was right here. He did a Devil's Deliverance, which is just a 2 physical, but it adds 2 for every character within 2, and then it hits an area 2 around him. So it was actually 6, thanks to Bullseye and Crossbones being there. Did massively well against Bullseye and did exactly enough to kill him on his wounded side. So we're not going to get to see everything that Bullseye can do this game because he is dead, and that does mean an instant victory point for the defenders to put them at 4. Then he played, well, sorry, keep in mind that was in the power phase, just didn't mention it then. Daredevil used climbing gear for 3 power, which is expensive, but it was sitting on like 9. Just for the fact you can advance small by using this card. Wall Crawler is irrelevant. It was to get him close enough to be securing that witness, and so he could do a basic strike as his other action. Against Crossbones, oh sorry, with Devil's Deliverance against Crossbones, it did 1 damage. He spent 1 power to negate it. Then the basic strike did 1 damage. So Crossbones is tanky, which is why he's got the book, but Bullseye's gone. We're over at this end of the table for Kingpin's next activation. He stayed where he was because he's securing the witness, thanks to where it was placed. He did 2 cane lasers, which is a beam 3, so it caught Hawkeye, Wong, and Doctor Strange. He did 2 of them. It's only 4 energy, but because it was hitting so many people, it seemed like the best bet. On the first attempt, the only person to take damage was Wong. He took 1 damage. On the second cane laser, only Hawkeye took damage, but he took 3, so he is dangerously close to being removed. So Doctor Strange activated, and he used 7 Sons of Cinnabis, which he's only allowed to do if he spends 3 power while there are 2 non-dazed characters within 2 of him, which there was. And it gives him access to Beam 5 8 energy dice attack. He fired it straight down there, which unfortunately means Hawkeye is hit by it, so he takes 1 default damage, because that's what happens if you use a beam and it targets a friendly. He does not, however, get the Incinerate effect, which it does if it does damage, because it specifies only enemy characters. The target enemy character gains Incinerate, so that's an interesting little feature. He smacked Fisk for 8 damage. Didn't even need to do that much, he needed to do 5. Fisk is dazed. The Green Goblin got hit for 4, so he's incinerated. Not quite enough to take him down though. And he then tried to do a Bolts of Bedazzlement, or whatever his basic attack is, and that did 0 damage. But still, that was a very effective tactics card usage there. So the Green Goblin activated, and he had 1 singular goal: murder at least one of either Hawkeye or Wong. So he used Knight of the Goblin, which is utter overkill. It's 7 physical. It did 3 damage to Hawkeye. Hawkeye is unfortunately no longer with us, so he is gone. And then for his other action, he moved because he's still healthy, so he's counting as 2 healthy characters, which means Wong has to take out Green Goblin, or that weakness scores for I was going to say organised crime there, for a Criminal Syndicate. So the other side of the table isn't going anywhere, so Punisher activated instead. First of all, he used Warzone to explode a bit of scenery within 4 of him, so that enemies within 1 or 2 take 2 damage. Blew up the pumpkin here, it hit Crossbones, he spent 1 power to negate 1 of the damage, so he took 1 damage instead. Punisher then moved, so he's helping Daredevil claim this, and then did a hip fire, which is essentially a double for physical dice attack, and neither were able to do any damage to Crossbones. So now it's either over to Crossbones or Taskmaster, back over to Wong, and then back over here to end the turn. So as I'm sure some of you might have noticed, some are jumping into the comment section to say Warzone is an action, it's not just a superpower. So Punisher technically did 3 things there because he Warzoned, moved and shot. So it's just as well the shots did no damage. In hindsight, there was a better turn to be had anyway. What he should have done was move. He should have used up his vengeance tokens or his punishment tokens to get 2 extra dice on his hip fire, which would make it 6 on the first one, 4 on the second. And oh, what else could he have done? Oh, and spent 1 more power on the defender's affiliation bonus to change it into a mystic attack, so Crossbones would only have 2 defense against it. Probably a much higher chance of doing damage. Too late to go back now. Just thought I'd mention both the mistake that was caught and the better turn that was seen. Anyway, Crossbones, he moved in, so he's within 1, and he's still healthy, so that's countered those 2 already. Taskmaster's just going to move in there. To stop them winning this turn, it's literally down to Wong taking out Green Goblin. He then did a basic punch right into the chest of Punisher, as you can kind of see there. It did 3 damage, he's got 2 left. Oh, actually, he's on his wounded side anyway, so he wasn't counting for healthy, so it's already claimed by the Criminal Syndicate. So Taskmaster activated, he moved in, and then he used Mnemonic Technique on Punisher, which is a 4 physical, but you add on dice equal to the opponent's physical defense, so that was 3 more, and he actually whiffed. That's the first bad whiff the Criminal Syndicate have had with their dice rolls, to be fair. But didn't do anything. He's claiming that, and with their claiming of that, it does actually mean, just added up the scores, that the defenders can't win, because the Criminal Syndicate will get to the 16 minimum required to win, regardless of whether or not this is claimed. However, I'm really curious if Wong can punch out Green Goblin, so we're still going to see if that happens, but this is also going to be the last turn, as it's been a stomping. For an extra bit of fun, we're actually just going to do it on camera. Wong has 4 physical. Wow, that's probably not even worth rolling defense dice for, is it? Oh well. We'll still try it anyway, why not? There we go, it got blocked. And then, again, because the match is already over, so this is irrelevant, but hey, oh, that's a bit better. That's just throw in the next one. That's 2. He needed to do 2, I think. 4, 5, 6, 7. No, he needed to do 3, so this is all pointless dice rolling, just to show how inevitable fate was that Wong has failed. And that does mean that with the 3 books that the Criminal Syndicate still have on Crossbones, Taskmaster, and Green Goblin, even if they hadn't claimed this one, they're getting 2 from that one, which is the 5 required to take them to 16, but they actually go 2 more above that to 18 because they do claim that, because he's healthy, so he counts as 2 people, and that does mean that they end on 18 playing 4. So yeah, what an absolute stomping by the Criminal Syndicate. They weren't doing too well on the fighting front, really. Taking out 4 health characters isn't super impressive, and they were starting to get beat up. It's that Criminal Syndicate affiliation bonus for claiming objectives. Granted, once they all start turning over their cards, so it doesn't affect anyone, because it says specifically healthy characters count as 2, not unhealthy, so when they're flipped it doesn't do it anymore. So for instance, Bullseye, if he hadn't been taken out, would only have counted as 1 for the purposes of, well, 1 wounded for the purposes of capturing or securing objectives. But you bring a bunch of chunky characters, Kingpin with his like 7 health, 8 health on his healthy side, and Green Goblin with his 6 or 7 health as well. It's really hard to take them down. Although on the other side of the table there was some bad rolls. I feel like Bullseye and Taskmaster kind of got lucky, and then Crossbones with the amount of damage that Daredevil and Punisher were putting out. But yeah, what can you say? Sometimes matches are just a stomp. I will say the dice rolls did seem to be in the Crime Syndicate's favour, but that affiliation bonus, I'd love to see a Black Order team try and take on this affiliation bonus, because you're never going to have more than 4 miniatures really, unless you bring like Gamora and Nebula instead of Ebony Maw. So you're going to have 5 models, maybe tops, most likely 4, so you're already a man down, and each healthy person on the other side is counting for 2. And yeah, if you start to win the fights like happened here, you'll start to turn the tide, but by then it could be too late if they've had 2-3 turns of just easily capping objectives. It's really interesting. That's a tough one to beat. I'm not sure. I don't think we saw the fair showing of Daredevil, or Bullseye, to be fair. Taskmaster did fine. Looking forward to seeing him be a bit more active in the future. Kingpin is a tank. He just walked up, strolled, fired his pimp cane a couple of times, and then sat on a witness. Not like that, but you know what I mean. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. See you in the future for some more Marvel Crisis Protocol. Happy Halloween, and ta-ta for now.